Headmaster Sene Ikenobo last visited San Diego when our chapter celebrated the 40th anniversary of the founding of our San Diego chapter. He demonstrated multiple arrangements to the delight of all the guests. Sakaguchi-san. This is Coco, my 12-year-old granddaughter, who was instrumental in helping to produce this video presentation. I have been taking flower arrangement lessons from my sensei, Professor Sadako Oler, for over 45 years. She is 95 years old and was still teaching at Balboa Park and at the Vista Buddhist Temple until classes were closed due to the pandemic. There are 5 styles of flower arrangements in the Ikenobo school. I would like to briefly show you photos of the different types of arrangements that are unique to our school before continuing with the video demonstrations. I made these arrangements over the years of lessons with Sensei. Truthfully, most of these photos were taken within the last 10 to 15 years because prior to that, cameras were not that convenient to use in taking photos of flower arrangements in class. Shoka Shofutai is the first style. There are 3 yakueda or branches in this group, the shin, soi, and tai. 1, 2, or 3 different materials may be used in this style of arrangement. This one material, Shoka Shofutai, is being used with iris from my garden. This is another example of a 1 material Ishuike of chrysanthemums. A 2 material Nishuike arrangement. Please note that all of these arrangements will appear to emerge from 1 stem or trunk from the edge of the vase, or mizugiwa. The mizugiwa is usually 3 fingers height from the edge of the vase to where the leaves originate. 4 of the styles of arrangements in the Ikenobo school all have a distinct mizugiwa. Only the freestyle does not have a mizugiwa. This is a shoka shofutai using 3 materials. We will call this a sanchu ike. Futakabu ike, or 2-part arrangement. This is usually done in a low container depicting a water and land scene. Shoka shimputai may use up to 3 materials, whereas shoka shofutai has strict rules on height and the direction of placement of stems. Shimputai is more free-flowing. There are no set rules for height or placement of materials. However, there must be a mizugiwa. The 3 yakueda or branches are the shu, the yo, and the ashirai. This is another example of a shimputai using 3 materials. Again, no measurements, only constant is the mizugiwa, and in this case, the epidendrum gives you the sense of a flowing downward. This is another shoka shimputai. This was done at a workshop in San Francisco. Another shoka shimputai, and if you notice, the leaves of the Lysianthus gives you a very sharp definition of where the mizugiwa begins. Rika shofutai. This is the original Ikenobo Ikebana style of arrangement. Initially, the monks would make these arrangements for the temple at the Rokaku-do in Kyoto. These arrangements depicted landscapes. The yakueda are shin, soi, uke, hikai, mikoshi, shoshin, do, maioki, and nagashi. You may use from 5 to 11 or more different material. This is an example of a very basic rika that I use for teaching my students for the form of rika. Ishuike of daffodils. Each stem and flower was wired. one of the most difficult arrangements that I have done. It took me and my friend Mariko Sato the entire day to complete this arrangement during one of our study tours to Kyoto. This is a split Rika, another painstakingly marathon day to complete the arrangement during a more recent study tour to Kyoto. Rika Shimputai. This is the new style Rika created by the headmaster, focusing on expressiveness rather than the set form of the original Rika Shofutai. Rika Shimputai uses various kinds of floral materials with unexpected combinations of materials, color, and design. Mizugiwa is still very obvious. This arrangement is markedly different from my other arrangements because most of the materials I used here were given to me by a classmate in class. She grew different materials in her garden. Lots of movement, combination of very different materials, mixing tropical material with temperate zone plants. Dried material such as this dried palm, may be used with natural material as seen in this Rikashimputai. This is the fun arrangement using bird of paradise, the new bird of paradise that has no leaves. I mean, it has leaves, but it looks more like stems. That's what they are on the right hand side. Freestyle. No Mizukiwa, and you may use all kinds of interesting containers, and your arrangement will follow the lines of the container as seen in this particular arrangement. This is a more naturalistic presentation of this gorgeous magnolia. The equisetum is forming a frame for a very small table arrangement. Another naturalistic arrangement highlighting the glass face. A fun way to use a large container to be placed on a long table. I call this the dueling billy balls, and billy balls are actually the common name for Crespidia. I would like to thank Gail Ching, my student, for helping to put this presentation together.